Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope everybody's had a beautiful night's sleep. Today is August 25th. Thought for the day. Oh, wait a second. It wouldn't be a morning reflection without my cafecito puya, cafecito puya. Okay, I'm gonna stop. And I'm gonna bring. I always forget about this. All right, August 25th. A thought for the day. Unless we discuss our defects with another person, we do not acquire enough humility, fearlessness, and honesty to really get the program. We must be entirely honest with somebody. If we expect to live happily in this world, we must be hard on ourselves, but always considerate of others. We pocket our pride and go to it, illuminating every twist of character and every dark cranny of the past. Once we have taken this step, withholding nothing, we can look the world in the eyes. Have I discussed all my defects with another person? Oh, I mean, yes, I have. Uh, I remember when I first discovered recovery and all this stuff, programs, uh, spirituality, connection, uh, purposeful connection. Um, I connected with somewhat of a mentor that showed me the ropes, and he became the person that I told everything, every little secret, every little dark little detail of my wrongdoings. He is the one person that knows it all, truly. Well, now my therapist, maybe, but I agree. I think it's important to have somebody with whom you can be honest and take those words that you are telling yourself and you know pull them out of your system and show them to somebody, and in that action I feel like some of that weight gets lifted. At least that was what I experienced, and I mean many people across history and time and have done this. Catholics do that on a regular basis when they go to confess their sins. So, as a person that has alcoholic tendencies, I feel like it's very important for me to be honest and not just to the camera, but another person. And it's hard to find somebody that understands what I'm going through or what you're going through. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because I want to show a glimpse of what is it that people need to do in order to stay sane and safe. So if somebody comes to you about telling you about some heavy lifting that they're doing, don't disregard it, especially if it's a person that that is dear to you. You know, the worst thing you can show is an attitude of, "Oh, you're exaggerating. Oh, but everything is fine." Everything is not fine in a person's mind. Not always. Meditation for the day. Never yield. Never yield to weariness of the spirit. At times, the world's cares and distractions will intrude and the spirit will become weak. At times like these, carry on, and soon the Spirit will become strong again. God's Spirit is always with you to replenish and renew. None ever sincerely sought God's help in vain. Physical weariness and exhaustion make a time of rest and communion with God more necessary. When you are overcome by temporary conditions which you cannot control, quiet now keep quiet and wait for the power of the Spirit to flow back. I love that. That's very true. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just it's not like I just need to. I've noticed that I almost always tend to do this, just observing the thought or observing the feeling. And by observing the feeling, observing the thought, I mean just sitting with it. And by sitting with it is, if you're feeling the anxiety just creeping up, sit with it. Take a deep breath, 10 deep breaths, as much as you need. If water works for you, if walking works for you, whatever works for you, to let that energy out, right, is good. Because this is why I remind myself all the time: this too shall pass. That moment of awareness and that moment of doubt, that moment of anger, that moment of resentment, that moment of impatience, that too shall pass. You sit with it, this too shall pass. And I think I said yesterday something along these lines as well. It's in that quiet space that you find communion with God. And I love how it says here, letting letting the power of the Spirit to flow back. Oh, it's beautiful. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not speak or act in the midst of emotional upheaval. I pray that I may wait until the tempest is past. I pray that I may not speak or act in the midst of emotional upheaval. I pray that I may wait until the tempest is past. I've heard that said often too, like, don't respond when you're angry, that sort of stuff. Don't respond to an email, don't respond to a text message when you're angry. That's what this is inviting us to do, to just wait, right? To pray that I may not speak or act in the midst of emotional upheaval. So we're praying to God or to the universe or whoever your higher, uh, whoever the power greater than yourself is. You're asking them to remind you to stay still. Because we can forget. That's why we're praying for it. We can forget to not speak when we're angry. We can forget to not speak when we are too emotional, that we can't control our thoughts, right? Sometimes we can't remind ourselves of that. So today's prayer is for our higher power to remind us to sit still, let that go, let that pass, and let the spirit of the higher power flow through you. God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me. as thou wilt. Relieve me from the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I may help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, courage to change the things that we can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thy will, not mine, be done. I'm trying to keep it short because if it's longer than 10 or 15 minutes, then it takes an entire 24 hours to process the live videos. I'm doing an experiment, doing a quick one or quicker one. I'll try to stay under 10 minutes next time. It's easier also to, go through or sit through. But enough of that yapping. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy your cafecito puja. Let's do this.